It's time to take a look at the good old Boeing, and while they have successfully ended strike action, its ramifications are more than still being felt following a new orders and deliveries posting by the American planemaker. These coming for October 2024 and really painting a bleak picture, with output dropping to record lows amid that strike action that really occurred during the company's previous month. The strike action I speak of took place from September 12 through to November 5 and saw more than 30,000 of its workers walk out of the job, basically to seek a better contract for their work, that being the compensation, and this is something they ultimately did eventually agree on. However, because of these walkouts, Boeing's output rate dropped to dramatically low levels, and they delivered just 14 aircraft across their commercial airplanes division, this being to your airline customers across a 31-day period. These numbers, however, were to be expected. They shouldn't really have that shock value that maybe they would have if it would be, say, a typical month. Again, you've got to remember that so many of their employees were not working on the production floor, which limited output rates. The walkout also affected some pretty massively core programs to that monthly delivery performance. I'm looking directly at the 737 MAX, which was also impacted. This family, month over month, is responsible for the vast majority of monthly aircraft deliveries, and if affected, well, as it has been, it's going to obviously see numbers crumble. This was felt during the global pandemic and during the 737 MAX crisis. With output levels so low, Boeing just wasn't delivering the same amount of planes that it would like to, as it's hardly going to, say, ship off 55 787 Dreamliners in a single month. Furthermore, it is important to remember that even without strike action that I speak of adversely affecting the business, there were also other considerations that had to be made for why the numbers were going to already be lower. That is your increased oversight from the Federal Aviation Administration that is now dragged on right throughout 2024, pretty much from the first week of this year, and these have limited numbers. As the end of November now quickly approaches, Boeing says it's definitely working on returning to normality, or probably a better word is a new normal, even with the increased oversight. And as a result, it's still expected to be many weeks before a sense of calm can hit the production floor and output rates can be stabilized following the strike action. Stabilization of output rates still factors in the increased oversight, which has resulted in Boeing being barred from basically increasing production to higher totals, because the fear is present that if, say, Boeing was allowed to do this, the rebuilding of the culture and implementation of greater safety practices would all be in vain, as once more the core focus would be how do we increase our output. While it's all well and good for Boeing to take its time rebuilding, which is absolutely necessary as we know, the one thing it knows is it needs to make meaningful progress. This is driven by their poor financial state, which is beginning to raise alarm bells. So this meaningful progress has never been more important. Boeing feels it just has to ramp up 737 production that is currently capped at 33. And with that, and then hopefully time, it should be able to increase it further and see that monthly output rate increase. But for now, it's pretty stagnant, and when you have a multi-month strike take place, well, it's just a recipe for disaster over and over again. I'd love to hear your take. Boeing delivering just 14 planes in the month of October. What are your thoughts? Do you see things now finally stabilizing and then rebuilding in a positive direction? Or are you in the camp where it just seems that one thing after another has hit this plane maker over the last 5 to 10 years and it simply is just cursed? Thanks for watching. Take care, be safe. Leave your thoughts down below, as I said, and I'll see you tomorrow for another industry recap.
And we'll fly.